Hey guys, how's it going? Like Butter here. Today I'm going to be bringing you a Division video because we got some stuff to talk about. I want to go over 1.6.1 and talk about if this patch was successful and things that I would like to see in the future. So I've been keeping up to date with the ETF since I was in ETF 2 or ETF Bravo. I did get the inside scoop of what's going on in the future of the year 2 content that we're going to receive, and I can honestly say that there are some big things coming up for the Division. Now, obviously, being under NDA, I can't go over specifics, but just know that there's going to be a lot to look forward to this year if you are a Division fan. You know, the whole year 2 announcement, trust me, like that announcement was nothing compared to what they're going to deliver. So anyways, I just wanted to go over 1.6.1 and talk about the changes that were made and what I think kind of got better over time. So first of all, loadouts are absolutely fantastic. So here's the thing with loadouts, okay? I understand that we're still using the same gear that we've been using since 1.5, essentially, you know, with Seeker, you know, not being brought out in 1.6. There really wasn't any new gear sets without there being, like, you know, a gear score increase. It seems like a lot of people out there have kind of gotten their build min-maxed and they feel like there's nothing to do. The good thing about having loadouts is that you can try different builds and have builds for specific activities, and this is so helpful because I think a lot of the incursions and a lot of the legendary missions, for example, had kind of, you know, specific things in mind when it came to, you know, for example, something like Stolen Signal, where there's, you know, parts where you need a shield, there's parts where you could really, you know, benefit from having a final measure build, and like instead of having to change, you know, after each encounter and switch out all your mods, switch out all your gear, it's so convenient to be able to switch between those things on a fly. So I think loadouts is going to lay a foundation for the future. They've already stated that there's going to be, you know, new gear sets, new items to go for, new exotics, etc., etc. And when these things do come out, when this new content comes out, whether it be 1.7, 1.8, or whatever, those, you know, things are going to be a lot more I guess, convenient to put into your builds when you have loadouts. So, like I said, even though it doesn't seem like a big deal now, even though it is to me because I'm trying a bunch of new builds that I've never even dreamed of trying just because of how annoying it was to switch between them, you know, so what I would do is I would just keep like a build that was kind of usable for PvP and PvE, being able to put together, you know, certain builds for PvE content and for specific things like the incursion or legendary missions. It feels really good because you're playing the game in a different way, unlike in 1.6, and, you know, ever since the game came out, you're kind of just using one gear set for the majority of the time, whether you're doing PvE or PvP. So I decided to go ahead and make another character a couple days ago just to kind of play through the game again. I have some friends that are going to be getting into the game for their first time, and I think it would be really cool to play through it with them. I got up to level 23. And I think I got level 24 during this portion of the video. So I've been progressing pretty fast, and the reason for that is because I want to have multiple characters at level 30 because I want to be able to get, you know, more exotic caches throughout the week. I still need a better pair of Skull MC gloves, and I think I need a better short bow knee pads too. My short bow knee pads aren't very good. And I do want to test a lot of other builds that require having exotics as well. So I got the question so many times while I was making another character. In case you guys don't know, you can do the weekly rewards. You can get weekly rewards for each individual character. So it's more beneficial to have more characters because with more characters, you get more gear. Also, you can have characters specifically for, you know, hauling around the majority of your gear. If you feel like, you know, 120 spots and 175 just isn't enough for all the builds that you want to try, you can basically, you know, just throw a bunch of gear on one of your characters and let them kind of, you know, hold on to it. Especially now with the, you know, the 120 slot backpacks, it's going to be very easy to throw a bunch of gear that you want to save onto another character. So let's talk about 1.6 1.6.1, besides Loadouts, since we already went over it, you guys know how I feel about it. How is the balancing in 1.6.1? So I have a different opinion than a lot of people, which, you know, obviously that was made quite clear in my last video, because I made a video testing out the Seeker Mines, and in my personal opinion, I don't think Seeker Mines are a problem. I think they are very annoying, they're frustrating, I feel like it takes zero skill to use them, but I do think if you look at it overall, I just don't see the Seeker Mines being overpowered. If somebody, you know, wants to build 100% glass cannon electronics and put all of their, you know, stats into skill power and, you know, into electronics, then I think obviously if you're running also a glass cannon build, for example, there's 9K firearms builds out there that have like no skill power and no health whatsoever, and then they get very upset when they get one-shotted by a Seeker Mine. Now I understand Seeker Mines, you know, they are AI controlled, but you also got to remember there's a lot of negatives to that as well. For example, not being able to choose the specific person you want to go for. What that means is you could have one player with a final measure build and, you know, is building super tanky and is built to kind of consume those type of things. Like, for example, what if you have a tank nomad build, right? And you're running, you know, you have a team that's running all Seeker Mines, and you guys basically throw your Seeker Mines out and you just spam it, okay? I've seen groups do that. They run 4 Seeker Mines and it's disgusting, right? But the good thing about this is that if you position yourself correctly, you can basically have that person in front that may have like the 50% EDR and the Nomad build, where even if you kill them, you have to kill them a second time. You're gonna have to throw your Seeker Mine in an area where it's going to be able to hit the DPS players from behind. And what a good tank's going to do is they're going to run up and just basically swallow those Seeker Mines. And that's another huge disadvantage that I think Seeker Mine users have, is that you can't choose the target that you want it to hit. So for example, if you like threw it on the ground or you threw it like in a certain area, there's a lot of positioning that you can do to keep that, you know, Seeker Mine from going to one of your DPS targets and just having it be consumed by one of the tanks that has like 40%, 50% EDR. I also saw some videos of people trying to say that I'm wrong about Seeker Mines not one-shotting and whatnot. They claim that there's some sort of glitch going on that's allowing the Seeker Mines to one-shot. I honestly don't think that's the case. I think people are basically using toughness as a complaint or as something that kind of counters Seekers, which isn't the case, because EDR doesn't get you know, transferred into your toughness. I'm pretty sure they said they wanted it to do that, but it doesn't. It doesn't get kind of like, because I had 2 pieces, one with EDR and one without it, and my toughness didn't shift at all. I don't know if that's a bug or if it's supposed to be like that, but it doesn't matter if you have 350,000 toughness. It doesn't matter if you have 400,000 toughness. If you have 0 EDR, you are going to get one shot by a Seeker Mine build that runs completely glass cannon. That's just the way that it is. Those players, however, also basically just get bent over in half a magazine. It's so easy to put them down. So in my personal opinion, there's tons of counters, not to mention that if you know where the Seeker Mine is or where it's coming from, especially if they throw the Seeker Mine right at you, you can easily, with Airburst, dive out of the way and take a third, a half, maybe even 0 damage. I've had a lot of times where there's been a Seeker Mine going at me. The second that Seeker Mine pops, you roll towards it and you make the Seeker Mine miss. The way the AoE goes is it bursts and then it goes into 5 areas of effect that are on the ground. This can also be countered by a Disruptor Sticky, which I think is very important to run right now because there's a lot of people running healer builds and immunizers. That Disruptor Sticky just completely destroys all the things that are in the area. Not to mention that you can throw an immunizer down. If you throw an immunizer down, you're going to take significantly less damage. You can build EDR. I think it's super easy to build at least 22% EDR, since you can get, I think it's 10.5 or 11% on your mask, and then I also think you can get 11% on your chest piece, and those 2 things are the best in slot. Okay, you can make the whole argument that skill haste is better to have than EDR, and I agree. If you are confident enough in dodging seeker mines, absolutely. But if you have really like not so great awareness and you're getting hit by these seeker mines a lot, then you might want to put some EDR on so that you can take those seeker mines and, you know, be able to heal up afterwards. Don't forget, med kits remove that super long status effect that I saw people talking about. But remember, guys, there's a lot of ways to counter seekers. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a video talking about like how to counter seeker mines, just kind of giving an idea of what you can do in certain situations to kind of benefit from people using seeker mines. I know it's kind of weird, but if you guys don't know, when someone uses a seeker mine and you're close, you can actually purposely run into them and time it so that you roll and it misses you and it hits their own player. I've done that many times, and it's actually awesome to see, because those people who are running complete glass cannon seeker builds are going to have no type of EDR and no type of toughness. So to see their seeker mine basically kill themselves is great. So I will talk about that, but I still think that Deadeye needs to be looked at. I think Deadeye is just one of those sets that I just can't get behind. I can't support. I think it's too strong still, but you know, everything else, the reduction in stagger, even the change to nimble, I think they had a really good kind of middle ground with nimble. They basically made it so that the cooldown between running from cover to cover is like 2 seconds instead of 4 seconds. At first it was 4 seconds and you would heal over 4 seconds. Now you heal over 4 seconds, but the cooldown's only 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds you can run and kind of stack that heal over time. So I think that was a good change. And I think overall their approach to not just swinging the nerf hammer like they used to in the past. What they used to do, and I'm talking about like, you know, Massive and Red Storm, is when the community kind of panicked about being something, you know, something being too strong. For example, sticky bombs. Basically what they did is they kind of just panicked and nerfed it into the ground, and then all of a sudden they had to rebuff it in the future because they were just completely useless. That's like sticky bombs is such a good example of this, because right now sticky bombs are absolutely useless. Now the sticky the EMP sticky, the disruptor, is very good, but the BFB is just terrible. It has such a long delay from when you shoot it and from when you know, detonate it, that most of the time people are just gonna get out of the area. I really hope they kind of make the AoE bigger on the sticky bomb. Obviously keep it the way it is, where if you hit someone in the middle, it's kind of like rings of damage, right? Where right in the middle, you take full, you know, mass damage. I think they should buff it as well, and then have it so that it's a bigger kind of AoE, much like the disruptor sticky, so that they can at least be used to stagger or, you know, kind of just make enemies in an area bleed, because right now sticky bombs are useless. They don't do any damage and they're super easy to dodge, even if you're standing directly on it. So yeah, I think that the way that they're approaching it, the way that they're deciding to gradually nerf things, is the best way for them to go. And I honestly think that currently seeker mines are in a good spot. Now, if they were to change anything, the only thing I would change would be the diminishing returns thing, which I'm not sure why it never got implemented into the game. If you don't know what the diminishing returns thing is, basically what was supposed to happen is when you got caught on fire, or you got disrupted, or you got shocked, there's supposed to be kind of this window of time where you can't get shocked or disrupted or on fire for the maximum time for a certain amount. So for what that means is, like, say you get caught on fire, and that's about what, usually around 2 seconds. If you get caught on fire again instantly, then that should be dropped to 1 second, then a half a second, then a quarter of a second. It should lower each time that you continually get caught on fire, because I did see a few times where the where someone would use a seeker mine, and then I would get caught on fire, I would remove it with a med kit, and then I would get caught on fire again instantly, and then it was just kind of this cycle of like getting caught on fire over and over and over again. That is one thing that I would like to see change, but I think the damage and the AoE on the seekers is pretty bearable right now. But I will make sure to do some of those videos to kind of help you guys out, so you can learn to counter and just basically up your chances of winning an engagement against a Seeker Mine player. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Overall, I think 1.6 did its job. Some other bugs that kind of slipped through the cracks were patched today in the emergency maintenance that they did. So that will be on their website as well, talking about things that they updated. So I'll put a link to that in the description if you want to see what they patched in today's maintenance. But overall, I think 1.6.1 is doing its job. Okay, I know that there's no new content, there's no new stuff, but basically this is just a quality of life, just a balancing patch, and I think it does a really good job for what it is. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop the video a like, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.